Hello, I'm Eli Stacy, and today I'd like to show you the different ways of creating replays in the SloMo application. We'll start with how to create clips and cues and how to play them out, and how to create picture-in-picture replays with the game clock, and finish with using the Shuttle Express as our hardware controller. Let's get started. There are two ways of creating replays within the ViBox, either with clips or with cues. The difference being is that clips have a fixed in and out point that can be tagged with keyword metadata and can be individually exported, while cues are just a reference point in time that don't have a fixed in or out point. We'll start by making a clip. To create a clip, on our multi-viewer, all we need to do is go to the beginning of an action just by scrubbing back. So we just made that shot, so let's go to the beginning there, right around here, mark in, scrub through to the end of the action, mark out, and press save. Once I do that, all of my windows freeze and I get to select what my preferred camera angle is going to be. In this case, let's do B, which is our wide, and then it opens up the clip properties window. From here, I can add certain keywords, such as it being a three-pointer. I can see that at the bottom left, and I can also manually type in a name. I can apply that to all of my camera angles, and in my clips bin and asset management at the top right, I see that I have every single camera angle for this clip, but if I were to go into preferences, I see that I have my preferred camera angle. So let's go back to live. Another way to scrub through the video is not just by jogging through the jog pad, but actually using this -6 seconds button right of the live. So, as you might expect, it jumps me immediately back 6 seconds in time, and then it now changes to 3 seconds, so I can now scrub through a little bit less time every time I press the button. And this can all be configured and is really dependent on the sport. For instance, in soccer, you might want to immediately jump back 20 seconds and then 5 seconds additionally. Let's go back to live. If we go into our clips bin, what I can do is obviously view all of the clips that I've created, but I can also use this as a way to organize my clips. If I press select and select, say, these 3 camera angles, what I can do is I can send it to one of my bins. So I'm going to send this to bin 1. I go over here and now I have 3 different camera angles in the bin 1 folder that I can pull up at any point. And I can continually add to this folder as I go through the game. So perhaps bin 1 I have selected as my highlights for the first half, bin 2 highlights for the second half. Now let's create a cue point. As mentioned, a cue is just a point in time. So if I go back to any sort of action, let's do right around here, right before it tries to make the shot, let's do a mark point in time. Now, if we go to our cues, I see that thumbnail there that I would be able to jump back to at any point. Now, while I'm jump back, I can still see that there's live action taking place, such as him making the shot. So even while I'm jump back, I can actually press live cue, and it will create a cue point based on the live video inputs, not my multi-viewer. And then I see that new cue point at the top there. Now that I've created a few clips, let's use those to make a replay. So if I go to my clips bin at the top right, I have all the clips that I've created, and for each one of the thumbnails, I can see there's a red and a green section. That corresponds to sending that clip either to program or to preview. So I'm going to send my B camera angle, which is my Y, to program, and let's get C to preview. Then from here, I can actually sync my multi-viewer to the same point in time as these clips. I could do that with the sync to program or preview button. Then from here, I have independent control of each one of these windows. So I'm going to go to right around here, right when he makes the shot, because on my first angle, which is already on program, I want there to be a little bit more build-up. Now to play it out, I can either press the play button, which will play it at 100%. I have this slider here, which I can select which speed and move between it on the fly. And then I also have these speed presets at the bottom here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to select 60% speed playout. Perfect, he's about to make the shot, and then I'm going to switch to my preview camera angle. I'm going to do that, and then I want to get a third angle of this. So let's do this camera angle. Let's set that to preview, and then I can tap it to play it out. Now, another thing that I can do is we use sync to program to jump to that point in time, but we can also use it to continue the action. So while this is playing out, I can press sync to program, and now all of my entire replay multi-viewer is synced with my program window. So now I can go through and just tap on different camera angles to switch between them, continuing to follow the action, not necessarily jumping back to the beginning. While I see all of my clips in the clips window, it can be a little bit confusing after a while to find the exact clip that you're looking for. So one of the ways to sort through all the clips that you have is if you go to Clips and then go to Preferences. This shows you the preferred angle that you've already selected for each one of the clips that you've created. You see that each one of these camera angles is different. We have B, in this case we have D as the camera angle. Another thing that we can do is if we go to all the clips, we can actually search for specific keywords, or if we have anything in the title of these clips, we can search that. So let's look for one of the clips that have a 2-pointer. So we can see that this one clip came up, 1113, and we have all the different camera angles for that one because we applied that keyword to all of the different camera angles. Let's send this to program and play it out. And we see that as he goes through the action, he misses that, and then this is where the 2-pointer is. Perfect. Then when we're done, we can just go back to live. To play out a cue, it's very similar. If we go to our cues bin, we can see all the thumbnails that we've created for different marked points in time. And instead of being red and green sending it to the program and preview window, we just have a blue section, and that will just send it to our replay multi-viewer. So I'm not sending it to any specific window. I just have every single camera angle for this action. Then from here, I can select which angles I want to send to my program window and my preview window. I can individually scrub through here. All right, so I want to build up quite a bit there. And then on this camera angle, I want it to be right before the action. Then I'm going to hit play, so it's at 100%. And then I'm actually going to slow it down with the slider here. So now it's really in slow motion. And I misses, so I'm going to speed it up. And then I'm going to tap on my next camera angle to get another shot of that. And we'll see that it continues playing out at the same speed. A new feature within the ViBox SloMo is incorporating picture-in-picture directly from the Replay Program 1 output. For a quick replay showing the embedded clock, the operator can quickly cue the main angle on Program 1 along with the clock on Program 2. Then we enable link speed and link jog and turn on the pip and roll the replay showing the shot clock in sync with the rest of the video. Here we can see that he was able to make the shot before the buzzer went off. Finally, let's use the Shuttle Express as our hardware controller for building replays. To see what the default settings are, go to Setup, then Preferences. And on page 5, we can see what all the buttons and rings are assigned to. The first button is for toggling control. So this will mean when I go through the wheels, I'm either controlling my replay multi-viewer or my preview window. Then the next 3 buttons are for creating clips. So mark in, mark out, and save. And then the last button will set whatever window I'm currently controlling back to live. Then to the right, we see that we have the settings for the 2 wheels. The outer wheel means that the more I turn it, the faster it'll scrub through the video. And then the bottom jog frame means every click, that's how many frames I'll be jumping. But these are pretty good at the default values. You should only change these unless you feel the need to do so. Let's hit apply and then exit. So now, if we press the first button all the way to the left, I can see which window I'm controlling. So if I'm controlling the preview window and I scrub back, I can see I'm going frame by frame. Now, I'm going to set that back to live with the 5th button. Now, if I control my replay multi-viewer and I'm going to use the outer ring, I can gradually scrub through faster and faster through the video to find exactly that point in time that I'm looking for. And then once I do, I can scrub through frame by frame to find that exact moment, such as him knocking the other player out. So then from here, I'm going to do mark in, going to scrub through. Okay, there was the foul. Mark out, and then save, and then it opens up the clip properties window where I can add keywords such as that is a foul, I then hit apply, and then that's now added to our clips. But now let's go in and change what some of these settings are. Let's go to Setup and Preferences again. And this time, I'm going to set it so that button 1 is going to stay as toggle control. That's very useful for navigating the UI. But instead of using clips, I'm actually going to change these so that I can create cue points and then go through those. So I'm going to do previous cue, next cue, and then I'm going to do mark. I'm going to hit apply, and there are other settings that you could do. Really depends on personal preference and the sport that you're doing. So now, as we go through the production, again, I still have that same toggle control. So there was a shot that was just made. Let's jump back a little bit. But then now I'm just going to create a mark. And we see in our cues bin, I have a new thumbnail. So if I'm back to live at any point, if I want to go to that cue, all I need to do is press previous cue and I jump to that cue point. If I want to go back one more, I'll do previous cue again. And I can see I'm jumping through all the cues that I've created. Then once it's ready to play out, I can just tap on any of these camera angles to set that camera to live. And then I can play them out normally. Whenever I'm done, if I want to set any specific window back to live, I can switch between my control. I need to set my replay multi-viewer back to live, and then my preview window back to live. I hope this has taught you a few new ways to create more complex replays in the SloMo application. If you'd like to learn more about the SloMo application or the ViBox platform, there's information on our website. Thank you.